Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again after quite a long break. I mean, guys, come on. It has been an absolute journey of note from this break. Welcome back once again to the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Pro-Am Championship. We've been gone for a couple of weeks, allowing the drivers to have a little bit of a reset, allowing the commentators as well as the admins backstage to have a little bit of a reset and throw it around once more for Season 20. And boy, oh boy, it is looking to be spectacular. We had a fantastic run last night here at Imola at the fantastic Sprint Series, which was incredible to watch. Lots and lots of competition as we watch that go around. And we are expecting to see similar results going around tonight. We've got loads of new drivers joining us on both grids, Pro and Pro-Am. Note about that as well. Just remember that there is a Pro stream that's hosted with our other fellow commentator, Stephen Koenig. And that is also currently being streamed on the RaceFace YouTube channel. So go and have a look at that. If you've got anyone that you are also supporting on that side in the Pro division, we're currently at the Pro Lights division. These guys are not slow at all. Still some incredible pace on this pack. And they're looking to try and throw it around for the next 9 minutes in qualifying and then 80 minutes in a full race session. Loads of strategy has to go into play, trying to make sure that that car stays in tune and in balance. And they're going to have to try and make things work for 80 minutes and see where they end up by the end of this session. So far, Yakukutsa, one of our drivers, setting the fastest lap time so far for Team Tryhard Racing, a 141.2 as he comes across the line once more. 141.2, he broke it just from a 141.5. And followed by him is the likes of Clary Duplessis, also quite a little bit of a contender from last season. I believe he finished near our top 10, and he's looking to try and make a dent back in it, and we'll see how he does. Juan Viviers, lots and lots of action for him last night in our sprint series. He's back at it right now for the Pro-Am Championship, and looking to see what he can do around here for round 1 at Imola. Followed by Arno Stadler, one of our new drivers actually for Martian Racing. So the Martian Racing team picking up another astronaut to send it around track. And he's picked the beautiful Ferrari in that menacing red, green, and black livery. And he's going to try and show everyone what he's made of. Darius Schmil... I need to learn how to pronounce his surname. This is a brand new one. Let's try and see if we can do it correctly. This is Schmiluski, I believe. Yo, that is an incredible surname. That's quite a hard one. I hope he doesn't set pole, because I'm going to have to try and mention that every single time. Schmiluski. Okay, I've got that in my head, guys. Don't worry. We're not going to be like Steven and mess up surnames. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. No hate to Steven at all. But incredible stuff. So he's up in 6th position. Ruan Kleinan's also one of the new drivers into the Martian Racing seat. He's chosen the Porsche 992 coming around. Ren Ferrari as well. The Pandacity Infiltrate in the Merc. One of my favorite cars, actually, the Merc and the Audi. And he's looking to throw it around track as well. Vessel Voda, and then we saw from last season, he had a little bit of a challenging season in the Merc, and he's decided to pull it out and come in with the McLaren 720S, joining the Gramadulas Racing team. Last season racing for himself, a personal team, and now he's in to try and score some points for the Gramadulas Racing team. So incredible stuff there. Jean-Ray Dutoit, also one of the new drivers for Pandacity, infiltrating the Mustang, the big V8 Ford Mustang, setting it around track, seeing what he can do for the Infiltrate team. And they've had a pretty good running record with a large amount of drivers on grid, so they're going to see what they can do coming into tonight. Ron van der Volt, another one of our Mustang drivers for Pandacity Infiltrate, also sending it around track. He's doing a phenomenal job, and we'll see what he can do out on track. Herman Percival in the Honda. So I believe that might be our only Honda NSX on grid. So incredible scenes from him pulling out the only Honda. Oh, a little bit of a spin there from that Mercedes in the background. So the only Honda on grid. We had it last season as well, with another driver being the only Honda on grid. And Herman Percival deciding to take that place. Jody Sierraman, let's go. I thought he was out of sim racing. I saw his wheel go up on sale, actually. And I was like, oh, come on, this is the end for Jody Sierraman. But looks like he is back at it in the Aston Martin this time. He's no longer rocking that beautiful green and red McLaren livery. He's coming through with the Aston Martin livery. Unfortunately, again, no livery load for him. He experienced the same issue last night, so someone will have to assist that before next race. Mark Hennebury, actually not the only Honda driver for the likes of Herman Percival. This is the driver from last season, Mr. Mark Hennebury. Mark Hennebury, also someone who loves to drive the rare variations of cars. You know, he's driven the Bentley in some of the endurance races, and he's always given a good show. So once again, for the Slick Racing team, sending it around track for the Honda NSX 2019, Lucan Hines in the Racing Snell ZA S20, the beautiful yellow-themed car, and once again, a BMW M4, a little bit of a popular contester towards the backside of the grid here, so incredible scenes as well from these guys. So he's going to be trying his best to try and push it up. Ulrich Diacha, a name we saw from last year, Griffin Sim Racing's driver in the 296, still rocking the same livery, but hey, if the livery's got nothing wrong with it, don't change it. You know what they say. 5-star, the legend himself, now moving over to Project Vapor from the Triazi Competizione Ferrari from last season. He's looking to try and make an impact here. And nice, beautiful, that's like a turquoise teal livery actually sending around track. So incredible scenes from him, and we'll see what he can do. Werner Boshoff, one of our new drivers for Project Vapor. He's not for Project Vapor, for Sim Racing Alliance. And he was not here last season. He decided to join us. Also, again, unfortunately, a bit of a livery load failure, but that's all good. He's still out on track. He's still going to push it. Caro Pretorius, one of our top 5s from last season, down in 35th right now, struggling a little bit. And he's going to have to try and get that car up and running for the Griffin Sim Racing team. Anton Lammers in the Treehouse Works Racing McLaren 720S, rocking a very nice Golf-style livery, except not that bluish color you see on the Golf, but rather a nice plain black on the base of that car. So incredible scenes from him as well. Hunty Myberg, actually funny enough, one of our admins here at RaceFace in the Team Tryhard Racing BMW. He sent it around track a couple of times last season, and he's looking to try and do it again this season. And we'll see exactly what he can do. Rob van der Heever for the Griffin Sim Racing. That's the first yellow Griffin Sim Racing we get to see. Most of them that we've seen have been the purple Sim Racing. So whipping out a little bit, maybe a sub-team or another color. But incredible scenes from that team as well. Ruan Liebenberg has changed to the Aston Martin. He was racing the Porsche 992, obviously not happy with the grip levels that showcased last season, and he's decided to go with a little bit more of a comfortable car, bigger engine in the front to try and hone it down on the top speed on the straight, and he's going to be doing that in the AMR V8 Vantage. Arno Kraus, a name we saw also last year from the Team Tryout Racing factory over there. He's doing a phenomenal job there in qualifying, trying to get the car around. Followed by him, Jackie Alberts, also the Racing Snell ZA in the BMW. And I believe him and Luke and Hines are very close friends. As you can see, some good collaboration on the car choice as well as delivery choice, rocking the same team, the same car. And they're going to see what they can do here in the Pro-Am division. Jaco Nordia in the Jax Mustang rocks up and finalizes our grid here. The only driver without a time on the board. And trying to see what he can do with 3 minutes left here. So that rounds off our sheer size grid here for the Pro-Am division. We saw it last night with 46 drivers for the Sprint Series. We see it tonight with 43 drivers for our Pro-Am Series. And someone's going to need to remind me when we go into the comms box later with Steven to ask him how many drivers we're seeing in Pro Division. Or if someone from the virtual grandstand can go and hop off of that and go and check that out for me to see how many drivers we're seeing. And maybe we can have a little bit of a comparison to see who's winning right now in terms of grid popularity. But that is our grid standing as we see it. We've got 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. Juan Viviers leads us. He actually led us a little bit in the previous season, Season 18 of RaceFace. And Season 18 of the GT3 Championship. He won that in the Pro, I believe it was the Pro-Am or the Am Division. But he is coming in hot in the Hybrid Racing Adventure Ferrari. And showing his power over here in first position. We got the likes of Vian Potter. I believe I missed that actually. Another Honda driver. So incredible scenes actually. The Honda is starting to get a little bit popular. We've got Vian Potter, we've got Herman Percival, and we've got Mark Henry rocking this car for Season 20. So everyone's deciding to take a little bit different choices here. And potentially the Honda looking to be a little bit more of a strat play. Instead of being that rare car that nobody really likes to use because it's a little bit difficult, I won't lie to you. I mean, I'm not that good at sim racing, but driving this car was a nightmare. You get a little bit disguised by the style of the car. You know, it looks great, it looks fantastic, and unfortunately so, it doesn't drive as well. Well, it depends on how you're used to your driving style. For me though, this car is difficult. If you can drive that car with pace, like the likes of Vihan Pata, I give my hats off to you, good sir. It's not an easy car. Not a lot of the pros drive it because of its difficulty of the learning barrier. And he is just rocking it around track over there. Rowan Heineke, also a name I actually missed, the Soccer Racing driver, up into 3rd position now. And he's doing incredibly well, up into 3rd. And with a phenomenal time of a 1:41. So incredible stuff from him. He's going to be trying to keep that steadily on pace as he tries to climb it up. He's a little bit behind the likes of Vian Pata, just about 0.008 of a second behind Vian Pata. Never mind. He gets overtaken and Vian Pata goes back up to 2nd after setting that lap time, so he's pulling it off. BG Smith, another name I missed for the Sim Racing Alliance, up into 3rd position with that lap, and he's going to be looking very happy with that one. Getting that car nicely up into position. So incredible scenes. We're seeing John Mountain. Also another driver we unfortunately missed in the Jomshal BMW M3. Unfortunately, the M4, sorry. It's kind of what happens as the grid starts to enter time. As people start going up, you start missing them. A couple more drivers I missed. Neil Greening in the Alena Flickfloy Aston Martin. We also missed him, unfortunately. Peter Oosthuizen in the Venomworks Racing Taipan. Very nice purple livery for that BMW, sending it around track and trying to get a good time in. Ronald Childs as well, another driver that we missed. He drove the Aston Martin last season, had a little bit of a challenging season, and he's decided to swap to the Ferrari. I like to kind of call the Ferrari the plain Jane. You know, it's a car that can do everything. It's well balanced, and it's actually not too difficult to drive. So incredible stuff. Daniel van Demter, also another driver I unfortunately missed in the 420 BMW. And he's going to be trying to send it around track in 27th position so far. That was his final lap. Oh, very nice pink rims over there. And that is going to be where he sits while we wait for the rest of the grid. Sean Loureiro makes a nice bring back for the Griffin Sim Racing Ford Mustang team over here. I haven't seen him for a while. If anyone doesn't know, Sean Loureiro actually someone who manufactures and designs himself custom wheel mods and custom accessories for sim racing. Incredible guy. He makes some cool things. And now he's back in the seat for tonight, trying to send the car on track and seeing what he can do. You know, the skills might be there with the handiwork, but it might also be there behind the hands of the Ford Mustang. So we'll see what he can do. Alan Patterson, a phenomenal feat coming in here. We saw his son, Kieran Patterson, back in Pro Division. And he is also back once again, claiming a top 5 over there for the PWSR Bravo team. So incredible stuff there for the Patterson Works Sim Racing guys. And wow, it's looking to be incredible stuff. Rowan van der Walt also coming out in 11th. And just a couple of drivers still sending it around track. Harry Duplessis coming around for the Grandmadulas Racing. Will it be an improvement on his time? Currently sitting in 10th position. He goes up to 8th. And that's an incredible job from him. Great stuff from all of our drivers as they finish off the session. And we're going to head into a little bit of a breaker. And then we'll see you guys on grid with all of our drivers. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, we've given the drivers a little bit of time to get themselves sorted and onto the grid. We've got a little bit of a blocked shot over here with the trees, unfortunately, being in the way of the drivers lining up on the grid. Let's see if we can find a little bit of an opening as we head to the top of the grid. Does not look like it. There we go, a little bit of an opening there for the 5-star and a couple of the drivers surrounding him. So the drivers have got about 1 minute and 20 seconds to get the setups ready to go. Putting in that fuel, that starting fuel. Remember that there is one mandatory pit stop for tonight's race. Compared to last night's race, the 45-minute sprint. And tonight's going to play out a little bit more different. You know, we've got an 80-minute race. That's a lot of time to keep focused. You got to make a pit stop to try. Actually, you got to make 2 mandatory pit stops to get those tires changed potentially and put in a couple of liters of fuel. And that is going to play the strategy card very well. So these drivers are going to really have to try and factor that in and keep their head and toes together as they send it around track. You know, you can't just have head and no feet because you're going to go nowhere. You might have the brain power, but you won't have the feet. And it can't be the other way around. Look at this opening. As we see a little bit further down in our mid-pack to end-pack. It's currently sitting with the likes of Rian Ferree in the Pandacity Infiltrate car. And a whopping 43 cars on grid. Jackie Alberts rounds us off for this grid with 20 seconds left. 4 setup changes and tuning changes. And we'll get started then with our formation lap. So looking really excited for this race, guys. It's been a phenomenal time to be off, but it's also really good to be back. You know, back at it for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Pro Championship here. A reminder that the Pro stream is live on our YouTube channel as well with the fellow commentator Stephen Koenig. Go ahead and give that a look as well. But we're looking for a very interesting race here tonight. It's looking to be good. The drivers are ready. You can see everyone's hesitating to get off the line here. They're like, cool, are we ready for this? Are we going to send it around track? We've also got another driver, unfortunately missed, trying to scroll down here as we get there. Liam Swinburne, who I actually didn't see, trying to get through the mass of this grid. So Liam Swinburne, a new Omnius Gaming Nitro driver, sending it around track. And he's going to be doing the best that he can to get it around. Actually, one of our UK-based drivers. So a little bit of ping on his side. But he's still got a phenomenal feat of racing in him. We'll see how the rest of the grid packs a punch as we slowly start to roll forwards for our starting procedure. There's actually not going to be a formation lap, I'm not too sure. It looks like the drivers are actually getting lined up here for the Pro-Am division. Let's just wait and see if Tim is going to be waving a flag immediately or if we're going to be seeing our drivers dash off immediately as we approach the line. It looks like everyone's going fairly slow as we approach the line though. So something's telling me we might not have a formation lap and rather just a final corner exit before we start this race. Keep an eye on those red lights, and it might potentially start right now as the drivers are going really slow. And there we go. I mean, that caught me by an absolute surprise. Green light. John Beviers managed to keep his lead. He's got the likes of Vian Potter and BG Smith surrounding his car as they come into turn 1. Managing to keep it in the lead very nicely. Let's zoom out a little bit here as we see it around the track. Onto the helicam view, as you can see the bottom pack of the grid still trying to fight their way through this. And incredible scenes for everyone managing to get nice and safe through turn 1. And further down the grid, trying to just make sure everyone made it through safety. We've got to get a little bit of an accident for the 113 car. That's Bradley Searle. I believe some of these accidents are just a couple of bumper taps. Little bit of offage there for one of our Ford Mustangs. I believe that is... Oh, that's actually one of our Hondas, unfortunately. I believe that's the likes of Mark Henry. And unfortunately... Oh, a little bit of a tap there on the back side of the grid there, unfortunately. So a couple of drivers really struggling to keep it clean here as we head around track for this major feat of cars sending it around. Back up to the top, though. We've still got Juan Viviers leading, but he has not managed to pull away as easily as he thought he would. So he's currently still sitting with Vian Putter on the backside of him, as well as BG Smith and 5-star behind. He's going to have to try and make that feat, try and gain a little bit of a time, and see if he can start to pull away from the fellow drivers. Alan Patterson also still fighting it out for that Ferrari 296. And seeing what he can do. But there's a major train of cars behind him. Warren Sheehan, also someone I missed in the Team WRT car. And he's going to be trying all that he can to get around these Mustangs as they power themselves down the track. Our German driver Darius Schmilski is still sitting around for the Logistic Nightmare Racing, the only Audi on grid here for the Pro-Am Championship. I believe for the Pro Championship we do have a couple more. I know the likes of Quan Duplessis loves his Audi, and he's going to be rocking that around. But lots and lots of close contending going on here after we finish one lap of racing already. And that's how fast 2 minutes goes, ladies and gentlemen. We're already 2 minutes down on this race, and it feels like it's been 10 seconds. That's how quick it goes. But lots of fighting going on. Neil Swart up on the inside line still, fighting off Neil Greening. Little bit of a bumper tap there, and he starts touching the grass, goes a little bit wide onto the top, and manages to keep it clean. He's not trying to get around the likes of Rian Ferrari, who's just managed to overtake him. There's lots and lots of bunching going on over here during the mid-pack, and drivers are really going to have to try and see what they can do. Let's try and look a little bit further down our pack, though, and see what is going on. Rin Liebenberg still fighting through the pack over there. We still got a couple others. Liam Swinburne also trying to get past, as he seems to have a little bit of a bad start there, down to 38th. Jody Sederman also struggling there at the backside of things. Hansi Meiberg straight into the pit lane. He's going to be sitting this race out. Carol Pretorius and Rob van der Heever, unfortunately, sitting in the pit lane. So, unfortunately, not having the race start he wanted. He's pulled the car in. Further down there, Ronald Childs currently chasing down Peter Oosthuizen in the Venom Works car. The Taipan livery sending it around track, yes, sending it into one of the final chicanes. And incredible start so far. It's been a little bit tight. We've got an accident for our number 25. Let's try and see if we can find them in time. The number 25 car, that would be the number 46 car. Where is that? Wow, this grid is absolutely massive, guys. Warren Sheehan, let's see what happened to him there. A little bit of an accident, maybe potentially touching the rear of Jean-Ray Dutoit. Jean-Ray Dutoit also really starting to fight hard. As you can see, a little bit of tapping there, climbs over there, and a little bit of actually netcode error over there. As you can see, the BMW starts to shift through the pixels of Imola over here. So that's unfortunately sometimes the things that you see. And the driver's just trying to keep it clean, sending it around track, and trying to make the most of it. Alan Patterson, though, a little bit further up grid, though, still being chased down by Ruan Heineke in that very dominating green livery. So the Soccer Racing Foundation drivers trying to make it through, and he's really putting pressure on. Juan Viviers now starts to build up that gap to Vian Putter. He's got a nice 1.3 second lead already, and if he manages to keep that here on Imola, we saw it last night in the sprint series. Philip Minard started running away very quickly with a 6 second gap, and that is indeed what can happen here, except we've got a much larger margin of time here for the drivers to make errors, to make feats, to make incredible moves, and we'll have to just witness it here at RaceFace and watch it till we get down to the line. Jim Maton in the BMW, still sending it around. He almost looks like a McDonald's-style livery with that red and yellow, and he's putting lots of pressure on Jaco Kutzer for the Team Tryout Racing McLaren as they all try and climb the curbs, getting it across the track in time, and we'll see if it's going to be enough. Also, again, the likes of Warren Sheehan going a little bit off behind. He's really starting to struggle in that Team WRT car as they send it around track. Ron Kleinans is going to slowly start to catch up, but he does have Vessel Voda putting pressure from the Gramadulas Racing team, and we'll have to see how that feat turns out. Back on board, though, Jean-Ray Dutoit, he's unfortunately lost out a little bit after that fight that he had with the likes of Sheehan. Warren Sheehan is a little bit further up the grid right now from him. Neil Swart also trying to fight off his teammate behind him, Marianne Ferry, in the Pandacity Infiltrate car, really putting the pressure on him. and we'll see if it's going to be enough as they send it around track. Coming down, which car's got the fastest straight line? They've both got the V8s packing in the front, but it comes down to driver skill. Up on the inside comes Renfree. His door gets closed off, though, by his teammate, and Neil Swartz walks away with that one, coming across the first chicane here at Imola. So incredible scenes from him. Joan Vivia is now 1.3 seconds, so he's slowly starting to actually lose time now. And BG Smith actually getting closer to the likes of Vian Putter. 5-star is not messing around this season, up into 4th position, and currently sitting with our fastest lap. Ron Heineke in that dominating Sarko livery, trying to make things count. Sean Lorero in the Griffin Sim Racing Ford Mustang. Also incredible scenes from him. Back on grid for the first time here for round 1, and he's already pulling up in the top 10s. So incredible stuff from him. Ron van der Walt had a bit of a challenging season last season, and trying to make it count this time. Round 1, it's the glory round here. No one's got points at all, which means that it can make or break your championship here in round 1. You win this race, you are the championship leader for round 1. I mean, it's quite a impressive boast to mention. You know, it's only one round, but it's still something. Peter Oosthuizen a little bit further down. I believe he unfortunately had a bit of contact before he did indeed. What I'm seeing from my highlights, he did lose out a little bit of time there. Unfortunately losing out. Liam Swinberg jumps into the pit lane. I'm not too sure if he's going to come back out, but unfortunately he seems to be struggling a little bit in that Aston Martin, and he's going to have to try and make an incredible feat back up. Darius Shmilski still sending it around track for the Audi. He's under immense pressure right now from Ronald Childs, putting lots and lots of pressure to try and get on behind him. So we'll see what happens. 4 laps done of racing already here, and track status is looking at optimum. 26 degrees on the track right now, so we got quite a hot surface here. The drivers are going to slowly have to start to manage those tires, but Ronald Childs looks to have a little bit of damage on the rear side of that car, and that's unfortunately not what you like to see as they still try and send it around track. But incredible scenes. You can see that wing a little bit damaged there. Hey, it's been through a little bit of bumper bashing over there, but he's still trying to hold on as much as he can. Ron Heineke is still racing around track, but his fastest lap has been taken away. But the likes of Joan Vivier is the race leader in the hybrid racing adventure team. So we'll see what he can do. Still sitting in first position with 141.6, as he actually is starting to pull away now from Vian Putter with a 2-second gap already. So incredible stuff from him. He's really starting to make those seconds count. I mean, 2 seconds, and it's only been 4 laps of racing here. So if he continues to do that, it's gonna look good for him coming to the end of this race. Daniel van Deventer also trying to make the most of it in that BMW, the 420 BMW car, the beautiful pink tires as we mentioned earlier. He's chasing down Neil Kreening, who unfortunately had a little bit of bumper bashing as well earlier with one of the other cars. Also, very nice livery from Neil Kreening. He's got like a aircraft metallic color on it, mixed with that nitro red. So incredible stuff from them. Further down though, Jody Sederman is fighting back up through the pack. We'll see what he can do. He's trying to chase down Vanna Boshoff a little bit further up in front of him, but Jody Sederman, lots of pressure behind from Jonathan Chislett, also one of our drivers from last season, the 996 car. Will he be able to make a move coming on to our front straight? And Liam Swinberg has gotten a disqualification, unfortunately. That's an unfortunate feat to see. The first driver to be disqualified from this race, and not an impressive thing to see, but he's going to be looking to try and make it up in next week's race, sorry. But furthering on Jonathan Chislett, will he be able to have the speed? He's got an angry Mercedes behind him with the big V8, but he's also got a V8 in front. It's all the V8s running together right now. Who will be able to make it down to the first chicane? Everyone stays in the same standing position. And further down the grid, I see Hunty Myberg has joined us back on. He's sitting around the 526 car, seeing what he can do. But I believe he's just having a lot of fun right now, sending it around. I believe he is a little bit, he's about 1-ish laps behind the rest of the grid. So we'll see what he can do. I believe he's just having a little bit of fun, you know. He always does seem to have a little bit of fun. But further up, Lucan Hines still pushing on in 23rd. Looking back towards his teammate, Jackie Albert's currently sitting in 30th. And the two drivers really trying to make it count together. Jackie Albert's trying to gain that position back and gain that speed and that momentum. In front of him, though, Bradley Searle, the Pandasty Infiltrate Mustang, also sending it around track. And the pit window has just officially been announced open. We've been racing for 10 minutes. And back to our virtual grandstand, unfortunately. Liam Swinburne joining us in the live chat saying, "Rip to my race." Liam, what happened? Unfortunately, you know, experiencing that disqualification, we got to have some insight to that as you sit in the pit lane over there. So unfortunate scenes. But Conrad Martin is really doing well right now. 21st, chasing down Neil Swartz in front. Jarno de Toit also in front of him. So lots and lots of drivers, lots and lots of big trains. And we'll see what goes on. More in the virtual grandstand. Tommy Alberts joins us saying, let's go. And that's exactly what we like to see over here, as everyone is trying their best with 1 hour and 9 minutes left to go. About 70 minutes of racing to do. And everyone is looking incredibly well. We've unfortunately got a bit of a car going off there. That looks like the likes of Mark Hennebury. Let's flash back and see what happened there. I believe a little bit of deep dive coming into first turn. And yeah, just completely missing that. And onto the grass trap. He's lost a couple of positions there. And that's not what you want to see. So unfortunate scenes from him as we continue. The Herman Percival is now putting the pressure on. Oh, and there's a big impact in the background there for one of the Mercedes. One of the McLarens. That's Anton Lammers. What happened there to Anton? So coming around. Oh, just touches the curb. And a fat hit into the curbs over into the barrier over there. Thankfully keeping the car safe. But that'll definitely punch his motivation down after losing the back end over there. A little bit of damage on the front of that McLaren. You can see it there. Lots of scrapes on the side of the car and on the back of the car. But thankfully, doesn't look like there's suspension damage. So he's going to continue racing around track. Ulrich de Jager also into our pit lane now. Potentially doing an early stop. A couple of drivers finishing off their pit stops. Jody Sederman joins him as they finish off their first stops. We've got a couple of other drivers as well. Arno Kraus finishing off his first pit stop. Ron Liebenberg also doing it. And a couple of the undercut strategies coming into play. So this is where the strategy card might get pulled coming into the couple last minutes of this race. We might see some position changes. The blue flags being waved already. Who on earth is fighting up into the mid-pack already? Most probably the likes of John Viviers as he makes his way through a couple of back markers. But going back to our virtual grandstand, Liam Swinburne saying got slammed into a few walls, needed repairs and just couldn't get it slowed down. So unfortunate scenes from him. The car just not getting the performance that he wants out of it. And that is his race over. Unfortunately, receiving a little bit of damage from slapping into a couple of barriers. That's exactly why they say try and keep on track. The car likes it when you keep on track. That Mustang looking to have a flicker on. I don't know what Ron van der Bolt is doing over there. He's trying to indicate something. But as you can see over there, a little bit of indication, maybe letting the driver behind know, hey, if you want to make an overtake, do it on this side. But we'll see what happens with that. Could potentially, unfortunately, be a miss push. You know how it happens in a real-life car as well. Sometimes you turn the wheel too fast, you click that indicator on, and the people behind you get very angry and frustrated because they don't know what's going on. But back up to the top, Vian Putter in 6th position. He's really doing well. Currently the leading Honda around track after Mark Hennebury unfortunately lost a couple of traction zones and lost out a little bit. But there's a little bit of a fight going on right now between our other Aston Martins as Mark Hennebury and Herman Percival just behind each other actually. So the black Honda NSX and the black and yellow Honda NSX fighting each other out, seeing who will be the championship leader here for the Honda NSX. But right now it is indeed the likes of Vian Putter sitting in 6th for the Honda NSX drivers over here. So incredible stuff. He's putting pressure on Harry Duplessis, who's also trying to just get it around track, keeping the car clean. It's all about consistency here, folks. Trying to keep that car good and clean. Conrad Martin knows that. He's unfortunately lost a little bit of consistency with that damage on the front. He's now under pressure from Lucan Hines, who's really looking to see what he can do onto the bonnet cam. Look at how close he gets. Looking around the outside and it gets blocked. Actually, he's going to look for it again, but unfortunately getting forced to put the brakes on that BMW, and you'll have to try and make that position stick another time around. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for him to see if he does make that position stick. But he's under pressure now from Mark Hennebury. Potentially not the best run out of turn 1. Mark Hennebury not far off from the BMW, as you can see right now. So we'll have to see what happens. Mark Hennebury trying to maintain focus and see if he can make up anything from this. So still sending it around track. Who will be the lead of this little 19th position runway over here? We've got Neil Krenning joining in behind as well, and Daniel van de Venter. So incredible stuff. Bradley Searle also a little bit further on in the background, trying to fight it up in the middle of the pack for the Pandastic Infiltrate team. We'll see what he can do. But further up, though, Vessel Voda in the Granbadulas Racing also doing a phenomenal feat as he rushes around track in 13th right now. He's doing an incredible job. Hasn't got a scratch on that McLaren, and that's exactly what you want. Keeping that car nice and clean. The car feels good about it. You feel good about it. And everyone just likes to keep it like that. Ruan Liebenberg a little bit further down, as we know he did an early pit stop, trying to get that undercut strategy. Currently, his last was a 142.9. Now, our race leaders up in the top are setting 141.9s. So, about a second slower here. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen if he does not get that speed up. But talking about not getting that speed up and not getting what you want, Lucan Hines gets a drive-through penalty. So it's definitely something he does not want. Unfortunately, most probably from exceeding track limits. Trying to push on the back of Conrad Martin over there. And just not getting what he wants. But back on board now with the likes of Lucan Hines. You can see how close he is as he pushes up behind the likes of Conrad Martin. He's really frustrated now with that drive-through penalty. He wants it over with. And we'll see what he does with that. But sending it around track still. Doing an incredible job. Richard van Heerden in the Project Vapor car. Also sending it very nicely. Richard van Heerden, actually one of our real-life drivers. He drives in the... he drives a mixed multitude of cars. But I actually got the pleasure of watching him drive in real life the other day at Red Star when I did my debut commentating. And he drove the beautiful Legend Ford 1934 Coupe. The Inex Legends, man. Those things are... They look like a lot of fun. And I mean, he takes that, brings it into the sim, jumps in the Ferrari, and he does, cool, let me try to do the same, just on a much higher power level, and against a lot of fast guys here at RaceFace, but doing an incredible job there. Richard van Heerden in 7th position. He's trying to put a lot of pressure on the drivers in front of him. Neil Swartz further down there as well for the Pandacity car. He's putting pressure on his teammate, Jean-Ray Dutoit. So we'll see how that happens. Oh, Lucan Hines unfortunately getting a little bit of a slip there. He's going to be under threat now from Mark Hennebree and Daniel van de Venter, as well as Neil Krenning behind. So we'll have to see what happens with him. He's really not looking good after that drive-through. Not satisfied with what happened, and we'll have to see what goes on with him further on though. But Daniel van de Venter really trying to push it on behind the likes of Mark Hennebree. He's got the likes of Neil Krenning, like we mentioned, Bradley Searle also a little bit further behind, and then Anton Lammers, one of our Treehouse Works racing drivers, and his teammate, unfortunately, Conrad Martin, had a little bit of a slip-off earlier. We saw him in the walls, and he's trying not to do what his teammate did. So we'll see how that works out. But currently, the last driver on our grid out on track will be the likes of Gerard Pretorius. Hansi Meiberg is also racing around track as well. But Gerard Pretorius, Jody Sederman, a little bit further down the pack. But like we mentioned, Jody Sederman, only one pit stop left to do. Unfortunately, Gerard Pretorius, 2 pit stops left to do. Potentially actually could have had a drive-through or another form of penalty, which is why we see him so far down with still 2 pit stops left to do. And he's going to have to try and pull it back up. Oh, seeing a little bit of a drift there from the Ferrari as he tries to pull it around. But looking further up on track, seems like we've lost Peter Oosthuizen, unfortunately. It doesn't look like we can access his dash. And that might be an unfortunate disconnect from Peter Oosthuizen as we try and get a hold of him. But Herman Percival, under lots of pressure now from Jackie Albert and a couple of other drivers, Ron Kleinert and the likes of Jaco Kutzer. Lots and lots of drivers putting pressure on each other. The 177 McLaren is looking at all of this from a glance and going, where can I capitalize on this? He's got 3 cars in front of him trying to make positions count, and we'll see what he can do. And he makes the position on Jackie Albert, who loses out to Ron Kleinert and Jaco Kutzer. So a double overtake there. And unfortunately, Jackie Albert is going to be looking at that one and going, come on, man, I can do better. Let me try and get back up there and fight these guys off. But incredible jobs from everyone so far. A little bit further up the grid row as well. Jonathan Chislett sitting in a bit of no man's land territory right now. Actually, never mind. He's sitting with nothing behind him. A little bit of a 2-second gap to Rian Ferree. But he is chasing down Johan Verveers in front. So it's quite a play on words there. There's 2 drivers in the exact same team, the hybrid racing team. There's Johan Verveers, and then there's Juan Verveers. I'm not too sure if they're related. I'm not too sure if their parents, if they are related, if their parents did that on purpose to confuse commentators. But that's a bit of a hard one, Johan and Juan. Incredible drivers, both of them. And sending around track, Johan unfortunately going a little bit off track there as we speak of him. I'm going to go off of his camera because that's a little bit of commentator's curse. Back on board with our German driver, Darius Stremilski. Sending it around track still for the Audi, doing an incredible job in 15th position. He's chasing down Arno Stadler, who's really trying to make the feats work here in that Ferrari. And that Ferrari, like we know, very wide car, so a little bit hard on the tires, trying to maintain them and seeing what it can do as it sends it around track. But a little bit further as well, Guillaume Mouton leading this pack right now for the battle for 10th, actually sitting in 9th. I believe we might have lost one of our drivers that everyone actually just got the position on Sean Loureiro. So he leads this battle for 9th right now. There's Sean Loureiro behind him. Then Warren Sheehan a little bit further behind. Warren Sheehan's lost out to 5-star as well. And Vessel Voda as they all try and push it around track over there. A couple drivers going to the pit lane. But right now, Vessel Voda, he's got a little bit of a train behind him as cars are really starting to put pressure on each other. Tremilski really trying to put pressure on 5-star. Let's see what he can do coming through into the first corner. Does he have enough speed? Looks up on the inside line. He has to pull in, unfortunately. It's not enough to get the car going and get around. But unfortunately, that looks like 5-star gets a bit of a bad run. And that's just enough. Let's go back and replay cam there. We were in a bit of a weird camera. But just not enough for 5-star to make that position stick. And not getting a great run. Pulls around to the right. And Tremilski getting a nice position up on the inside line. So now 5-star will be under pressure from Ronald Childs. A little bit further behind him. We'll have to see how that fight contends, as the drivers are really starting to put pressure on each other here. Incredible scenes as everyone sends it around. But let's have a look at our top grid. I mean, we haven't been here for a while. Joan Viviers, I mean, come on. Dude, this guy, fastest lap of the race, 141.8 currently. 141.3 was his fastest. And he's sitting with a 4.2 second gap. That's an incredible gap to talk about, considering that there's still 58 minutes left of this race, you know? He's really starting to pull away. He's got a couple of back markers in front. BG Smith, a little bit further behind, also trying to sift through the back markers over here. I believe he's actually trying to get past his teammate over there. The Sim Racing Alliance drivers, unfortunately, both of them not showcasing that livery. So we'll have to try and get that sorted before the next race. But trying to catch up now. Ruan Heineke in 3rd position, also trying to catch up to BG Smith, a little bit further up in front of him. A little bit of a gap right now, so he's got a 2.8 second gap to BG Smith, so we'll have to see how that goes. Alan Patterson also doing incredibly well for the PWSR Bravo Ferrari, sending it around track, seeing what he can do for the last 57 minutes here at Imola. Richard van Heerden now up into 5th position after a couple of people have done their early pit stops. He's decided to stay out for the Project Vapor team, so incredible stuff from him as he sends it around track, seeing what he can do though. And further down the likes are also Harry Duplessis in the Kramadulas Racing, chasing down Richard van Heerden, seeing what he can do. Vian Putter also in 7th position. So incredible stuff. Mark Henry a little bit further down is trying to chase back on Neil Swartz, but he does have pressure from Conrad Martin. And Conrad Martin, Daniel van der Venter, a little bit further behind, but also chasing him down. As you can see them, not much gap between these two drivers, so we'll have to see how this shapes up coming into the next couple of corners. He's got the speed, he's got the carry. Will it be enough for the next 56 minutes to carry this car across? We'll have to wait and see who will be the fastest here as we head through. Further down the grid though, Anton Lammers has got lots and lots of pressure right now from Ren Ferry, as Ren Ferry, lots and lots of gap to fight with over here. 0.1 seconds away currently from Anton Lammers. And that time continuously fluctuating up and down, but he is really putting on the pressure to try and get past. You can see how close up behind he gets to that Mustang, trying to push it to the absolute limits and trying as hard as he can. The driver trying to do as much as he can over here, jumping over the curbs. As you can see, the Mustang really just eats these curbs around here at Imola. I've got personal experience of that, man. I love the Mercedes. Why do I keep saying Mustang, guys? Come on. The Mercedes as well as the Mustang. Lots and lots of ride height on these two cars. They can literally ride curbs like it's nothing. So incredible stuff from them. I believe we have fully lost Peter Oosthuizen though, as he is definitely not joining us back. Cannot access him, his camera at all, unfortunately. Back up to the top though, Warren Sheehan, as he's currently sitting in 10th right now. So rounding off the top 10, he's under pressure from Vessel Voda of the Kramadulas Racing team. He's got a couple of drivers up in front as well, and we'll have to see what they do. But Vian Putter currently comes into the pit lane, gets it done nice and early. One pit stop done for the Honda SRA team, and we'll have to see what he can do. But with a good margin and amount of laps that have been done around here, a good 15 laps already done around at this circuit, let's have a look at our current grid standing. So Joan Viviers currently sitting in 1st place for the hybrid racing adventure, followed by BG Smith in 2nd, Ruan Heineke in 3rd position, followed by Alan Patterson in 4th, Richard van Heerden in 5th, followed by Harry Duplessis in 6th position. Ron van der Walt doing incredibly well in 7th position. Germaton in 8th, followed by Sean Herrera in 9th. Warren Sheehan in 10th. Vessel Voda following him very closely in 11th. Anna Stalder in the Martian Racing closing off in 12th. Darius Shmilski in 13th position for the Audi Racing team. And 5-star rounding off there for 14th in the Project Vapor. Ronald Childs a little bit further behind him. And behind him then John Detroit in the Vandasty Infiltrate car. Neil Swartz in 17th position. Mark Hennebury in the 18th position slot there. Conrad Martin in the 19th position slot. Daniel van der Venter in the 20th position spot. So incredible stuff from all of these drivers. Neil Groening in 21st, followed by Bradley Searle in 22nd. Jonathan Chislett in 23rd. And then Johan Viviers, not Johan Viviers, they're very similar. Currently sitting in 24th. Grant Ferry sitting in 25th. Anton Lammer sitting in 26th. And Vian Putter with a stop-go 30-second penalty for obviously crossing the line or speeding out of the pit lane. So unfortunate scenes from him there. That's a massive knock to any form of top finish over here. That is the worst penalty you can get, is a stop-go. And he's going in right now to serve it, get it over with. But following further down the grid, Herman Percival still sitting in 28th position. Jaco Kutzer follows up behind him. Then we've got the likes of Ruan Kleinhans in 29th position, followed by Arno Kraus in 31st position. Ruan Liebenberg in 32nd. Ulrich Diache in 33rd position. Jody Sierman in 34th. Then the likes of Werner Boshoff in 35th as they round off for the Sim Racing Alliance team. Jackie Alberts really trying his best here in 36th for the Racing Snells team. Hunty Myberg in 37th. Lucan Hines in 38th. Cara Pretori is currently sitting in 39th, and that rounds off our grid of drivers still out on track. A couple of drivers still sitting in pit lane. Liam Swinburne is only the one in still lobby. The rest have unfortunately decided to take the night off and take it off easy. So we'll have to see how that happens and how that turns out, the events of the night. A couple of drivers hoping that they can maybe come back. You know, it would be nice to have a couple of drivers come back, cross the finish line, and we'll see exactly how that works. Vessel Voda into the pit lane now. Let's see what he can do as he tries to get that first position done. Will it be a splash and dash, or will it be a full-on pit stop? That is exactly what happens in the strategy play. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the drivers as well. Why so serious? Quite a funny thing to have on the rear plate there, as a couple of drivers who will see that will want to really push past him. But still, incredible feats from our grid. We've got lots and lots of competition going on over here. In the rear pack over here, Jim Matun and Sean Herrero, lots and lots of them, as you can see. Ron Van Volt and Harry Duplessis as well. A little bit further up ahead, but everyone trying their hardest. Andrew Stadler is a part of this fight. He's got the likes of Darius Shemilski behind him, who's really starting to put pressure on him now. Will it be enough to try and climb on the brakes, get around that car? Lots and lots of time to gain on that car for that Ferrari. And the Ferrari really going to have to start to put the pressure on before that Audi starts to catch him very violently. And, you know, once that Audi gets past you, it's going to start running away. So he's going to have to try and do exactly what he can. Mark Hennebury still in the slick racing car, down in 16th position though, still doing an incredible job. Neil Swartz down in 17th position as well. So a couple of the drivers already starting to fend through. Still 2 pit stops left for most of them. Still a couple of drivers only with 1 pit stop left. You can see them there on the current HUD, the broadcast HUD, with only 1 pit stop left to do. Herman Percival unfortunately sitting in that pack of 1 drivers left, of 1 pit stop left with all these drivers. He's still got 2 pit stops left, unfortunately, from him, and he's going to have to try and get around those drivers to see what he can do. Vian Putter, though, is out the pits, and he's down to 35th position, unfortunately. So a little bit of a poor performance there, unfortunately, after that stop-go. He's not going to want that, and that is really going to impact the end of this race. He's really trying to put the pressure on while he can, trying to get past the likes of Werner Boshoff. Will it be enough? Don't think it's going to be. That's actually not Werner Boshoff. Werner Boshoff a little bit further up ahead. He's actually fighting off one of the front drivers. He's currently the back marker to the front driver. So we'll see what they can do as they still send it around track. Couple of drivers also sending it around. Bradley Searle for the Bandasity Infiltrate team. And a new color scheme actually for the Bandasity drivers. They came from that black, pink and white, and they've gone for like a more merged in kind of livery. You know, lots and lots of pink still. That's obviously the Pandacity colors. And then a more of like a grayish tiled mosaic style livery around the car, which looks quite nice still with the Panda on the side. So incredible stuff as we see. Lots and lots of changes though. Further up on our grid though, still a couple of drivers fighting. As you can see in the back there, Jimmerton, he's got the likes of Sean Herrera behind, and Anro Stadler a little bit further behind. He's also trying to fight, but that is actually one of the back markers. Warren Sheehan currently trying to get back past Darius Shamilski, sorry, as they have already passed the likes of Warren Sheehan. So Warren trying to make it back on that Audi now. He's got 49 minutes left of racing here for that car, so we'll have to see what he can do in the short time that he's got. Because, I mean, 49 minutes, that's practically a sprint race, you know. Literally 4 minutes away from this being the sprint race, with a couple of changes with the strategy. And then we send it out once again for another 45 minutes, and we'll see what everyone can do. Conrad Martin, one of our drivers from earlier, who had a little bit of bumper bashing going on, back up into 19th position. He's still got 2 pit stops to do, though, as some of his competition behind and in front have already completed their first pit stops. And same with the likes of Daniel van der Venter, also still got 2 pit stops left to do. So eventually we'll get to those pit stops. They've still got 38 minutes to do both of them. But you do not want the case from last season. We had a couple of drivers, unfortunately, missing the pit window and receiving a massive 130 seconds added to their race total time. And that's definitely not what you want. That's a lot of time to be added to the end of your stint. And it does indeed cause some frustration. Mark Hennebury into the pit lane now. Coming out actually as we speak. Warren Sheehan has heard me speak. He's coming to the pit lane to get it over with. And he does not want to be caught in the backfire of not getting a pit stop done in time. Daniel Shamilski, though, has now got clean air from Warren Sheehan, pushing on to Anro Stadler a little bit further in front. So the Audi really trying to put the pressure here. And also, one thing to mention, another car that I've driven before as well, the Audi, not the easiest of beasts to control. Very slippery end, a beautiful engine sound that comes from that Audi, I must say. And incredible stuff from him. We got someone in the virtual grandstand saying, how's Lucan doing? Let's go have a look at Lucan Hines. I believe he's a little bit further down on track. Funny enough, reunited with his teammate. He's putting lots and lots of pressure right now on the likes of Cara Pretorius. So sending it around for the Racing Snails team. He's in a little bit of a mix there, as he does have one of the front runners. I believe that might actually be the race leader of Joan Viviers. Yep, indeed it is. Joan Viviers trying to get past these back markers. But he needs to remember that the back markers are still racing, you know? He can't just throw the back markers off track and be like, listen, I'm in first. Your position is irrelevant, because that's not how racing works, especially with the sheer size of 43 cars on our Pro-Am grid. And if anyone actually is still in the virtual grandstand now, please do let me know what the sheer size of the grid is for the Pro division. I'm still wanting to know that, because we're trying to see who's got the numbers. Is it Pro Light or is it Pro? I think it's going to be Pro Light, I won't lie to you. But with a couple of aliens joining us this season, it might just be Pro. Conrad Martin getting past Daniel van der Venter now, as they start making their way around the track. So incredible scenes from him as well. Everyone still doing a phenomenal job, though. John Red Detroit, oh, a little bit of sand there. Just caught him in a bad time there. Let's go and see what happened there. Touching a little bit. Oh, he actually lost the car, unfortunately, and manages to slam on the brakes. So, funny enough, just managed to keep that Mustang under control, and that's great to see. And Virtual Grandstand coming back to me saying, I think Pro is 42, then that means we win this battle. Even though we've got only about 39 drivers on grid, we did indeed have 43 cars in the racing lobby before a couple of drivers unfortunately experienced some disconnects and DNFs and DSQs. So unfortunate scenes from all of them. But in comes Arno Stadler. Darius Shamilski has now got the clean air for the Audi team, and he's going to be sending around seeing what he can do with this clean air. Let us see how he can push it and exactly what he can do. Sean Herrera a little bit further in front, though, for the Griffin Sim Racing. He's really putting pressure on Jim Maton. He's still kept the same distance with 45 minutes left to go now, which is essentially a sprint race. You know, it's from last night's race. Think of it like everyone's on a rolling start, but wherever they are on the grid. I mean, on the track. Not a rolling start from the grid, rolling start from the track. Here we go. There we go. The sprint race has just started. Imagine it, guys. I need you guys to picture it. Sprint. No, I'm kidding. We are here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship for the Pro-Am division. The Pro Lights, the guys are crazy over here, and they're still crazy fast. as Jovan Viviers is really showing that skill. 8-second gap almost to the likes of BG Smith in second place. So incredible stuff from him for the Hybrid Racing Adventure team. They're going to be stoked if he manages to keep this performance up. And this is exactly what happens when you put in the hours of practice, when you constantly try and push the car around grid. And we'll have to see how he goes along. Alan Patterson, though, sitting in third now, as a couple of drivers have made their pit stop. So he's also doing an incredible job. Fortunately, doing a good enough job to still remain in third position. The number 100 car, trying to get 100% consistency, you know, because that is exactly what it's about. Fortunately, Liam Sundberg saying still so angry about his DNF. I can 100% imagine it. You know, first race of the season, the last thing you want is to feel like a Logan Sargent, and unfortunately receiving a DNF in the first race of the season. But thankfully, the one benefit of it being the first race is that there's another 7 rounds to benefit and potentially win from. So you know, you can learn from this, bring it on for next round, stronger and harder, and try and get the car on control and try and avoid those DNFs and DSQs. That's to all of our drivers who have unfortunately lost out tonight due to the disqualifications and the did not finishes. And we'll hope to see a couple less of those next week as we head to our next round. So incredible stuff though, as everyone else sends it around track. Ronald Childs also sitting in 10th right now as he rounds off our top 10. 5-star in front has currently got the pressure of Ronald Childs behind. Darius Shamilski putting pressure on one of our back markers. I was about to say that is Jim Mouton, but then I forgot Jim Mouton is rocking the McDonald's livery. There's the easiest way to identify him. I hope he doesn't take offense to it. I love McDonald's. I think everyone loves McDonald's. So more take it as a compliment. It's like Richard van Heerden. I used to call his car last season the Green Hulk because of its color scheme. And then funny enough, I saw him in real life. And he was like, the first thing he said was, "Oh, you're the guy who calls me the Green Hulk." I'm like, oh, guilty. It's always good fun to give cars nicknames. I mean, you know, this is the 2001 BMW, right? You know, it's a phenomenal color scheme, the blue and white. I love it so much. It looks modern, it looks sleek, the hybrid racing cars. And, you know, hybrid racing's always had a simple livery, you know, not so complex. You know, for example, seeing the car currently on screen, actually the Sarko racing car, one of the more complex liveries, very beautiful livery, but it shouts the same amount of strength as the hybrid racing cars here. A simple blue on white with team name and a couple of sponsors. That's all you need. It's the same as what BMW did in Formula 1 back in the 2000s, and the car really did make an intimidation factor stand there alongside the Schumachers and all the other drivers. So incredible stuff from them as everyone else sends it on track. Anton Lammers currently still a little bit of pressure from Vessel Voda, but he's managed to keep himself a gap. And Warren Sheehan, unfortunately, getting the third drive-through, or the second drive-through of this session, unfortunately. So down at 33rd with the drive-through. That's not going to end well, unfortunately. I mean, look at how one of our drivers who unfortunately got a stop-go is Vian Pato, who currently sits in 39th. He was in the top 5, and now sitting very far off from the pack, from the pace, unfortunately, due to that penalty. And that's exactly why consistency is key. There's no form of hot lapping in an 80-minute race, because in an 80-minute race, you've got a lot more factors to think about than your car on one lap. You've got to think about your car for 50 laps. Sending it around track, keeping it still, keeping it on par, and trying to keep everything under control, because if you lose control, it's over. It happens, the car goes into the wall, it starts braking, the suspension breaks, next thing you're holding your wheel sideways to stay straight, and it starts confusing your orientation, and that's exactly how things unfortunately happen. That's how DNFs happen, DSQs happen, as drivers unfortunately just not getting what they want. But everyone else still managing to keep it fairly good on the rest of the lobby. Ruud Liebenberg also is down in 27th right now. He's chilling in a little bit of clean air, but he does have Jody Sederman a little bit further behind. Jody Sederman with the likes of one of the front markers, actually. I believe that's Jean Viviers, as they try and send it around track. Trying to make the most of it. Johan Viviers, the other Viviers in the hybrid racing team, up in 15th right now. He's chasing down Jonathan Chislett. As everyone goes around, that's another one of our cars into the pit lane. I believe that might be one of our Mustangs that looked like Arno Kraus or Sean Herrera. No, actually I believe that was Neil Swartz. A little bit further down, I believe, there he is. Yep, cool. He just came out of the pit lane, and finished off a pit stop. Warren Sheehan also just coming out down, actually managed to keep 33rd as a position after that pit lane. So everyone behind, a little bit further behind on grid, and that's going to give him a little bit of gap and breathing room to try and make back with what he has caused, unfortunately, with that drive-through penalty. But now he's got essentially one sprint race to try and get through. 39 minutes of racing here, and that 39 minutes disappears very quickly. So he's going to have to try and monitor that as well as he can. But further up on the grid, Jaco Kutse and Team Tryhard Racing doing phenomenally well in 13th position. He's got Ruan Kleinant a little bit further behind, still putting pressure in the Porsche. And we'll have to see how this turns out. You know, he might start to gain on Jaco Kutse. We'll have to see how that works out. But a couple of drivers also doing phenomenally well. 5-star still lots of pressure from the drivers behind. Genre de Toit is a little bit further from 5-star, but 5 is currently under pressure from one of our... Actually, no, 5-star has just lost out, I believe, to the Mustang, but the Mercedes. But he does indeed pull in. Richard van Heerden comes into the pit lane as well to complete one of his stops. He's going to lose a couple of positions now, but he will have one position done and dusted. And the nice thing about having the double pit stop is you don't know if people have done their splash and dash on the first or the second pit stop unless you sit and watch them. So from what I'm seeing now, Richard van Heerden is definitely pulling the standard pit stop strategy. You know, possibly changing tires, putting in a good amount of fuel. There's no splash and dash over here. But we saw a couple of other drivers earlier having a very quick pit stop, getting it done nice and quickly, and then getting out on track as fast as they can to try and gain as many positions as they can. Trying to play the race factor, you know, not trying to play the pit lane factor. Lots of the drivers rather prefer the race factor, and that's exactly what we do indeed see here at RaceFace. But further down the line, though, Onno Kraus is still sending it around track. He's trying to chase down Sean Herrera, but he does have a bit of a gap of 4 seconds. Sean Herrera now on the back of Onno Stadler. Let's go on board for this on the bonnet cam. And Onno Stadler, lots and lots of pressure right now. As he does look to the back, you can see the likes of Sean Herrera coming up on the inside line. Will it be enough for Sean Herrera? As he comes around, he holds the inside, and he makes the position stick just before coming out of the first chicane. So incredible stuff from him. He's now going to want to try and keep Onno Stadler behind, but going to be starting to chase Neil Greening. So we'll have to see how that goes. Our race leader has also finished one of his pit stops. John Beveers down into first place right now. I mean, 7th with 1 pit stop left to go. And he's actually not net P1. Ruan Heineke sitting net P1. Also 1 pit stop completed, but sitting in 6th. But by the looks of that gap, I'm pretty sure Ruan Heineke pulled the stop, a splash and dash. And John Beveers pulled a proper pit stop, which means that later on in the race, it might start to become tight for the likes of Ruan Heineke. As he actually pulls in, is he going to be completing his 2nd pit stop to get it out of the window? So a little bit of interesting strat coming over here from Ruan Heineke. We'll have to see how this goes. He was net P1, but there goes Johan. Oh, Johan Beveers is coming in as well. So interesting strategies being pulled by the Pro-Am drivers here. You don't see it actually from the Pro drivers. Jaco Kutse is doing the exact same thing. So incredible stuff from them. I mean, trying to get those pit stops out of the way and focusing on pure racing. They've decided the consistency is good enough. I won't have to come back in for a pit stop or any form of repair, and I can focus on finishing this race without having to worry. And no, BG Smith with a drive-through penalty, and that's unfortunately going to ruin his chances of coming in 3rd or 2nd position. That drive-through is going to really pull him down, especially considering how long the pit lane is here at Imola. It's like a double pit stop, or a double pit lane almost, the way it curves. It's almost like the Silverstone pit lane, unfortunately, and that is not good news for him. He's not going to be happy about that one. He's going to miss out on a lot there. But Genre de Toy in the Pandasny Infiltrate team, currently sitting in 1st position in this race. Still the only driver in the top 23 with 1 pit stop left to go. So a little bit of a sketchy strat. He's probably going to get booted down a little bit further down. Actually, I believe he's the only driver besides Hunty Myberg with 2 pit stops left to go. So finding his glory right now in the 1st place position, but unfortunately it won't last long after he does his mandatory pit stops. He does have Ruan Kleinant behind with 1 stop left, currently sitting with 29 or so second gap. So big gap between these two as they try and make it around track But BG Smith really not happy about that after that drive-through penalty. Alan Patterson is going to see this, and he's going to go, let's go. That's a potential for a podium on our season back here for season 20. At the first round here at Imola, this could be incredible for him coming back and scoring himself a podium. And I mean, we'll have to keep an eye out on him. Mark Henneberry also in the Honda NSX doing incredibly well. He's had a good job of keeping that car clean and consistent, and now he's fighting down Alan Patterson down the main straight. Let's have a look on the backside of Alan Patterson. That Honda is closing in. Will it be enough? And it looks like the Honda is giving a little bit of leeway. He doesn't want to push just too hard, and no dive bombs over here. There's no one brave enough to try and dive bomb on the legendary Alan Patterson, and pulls back in and will decide to do it at a later stage. Everyone else though doing an incredible job as they send it around track for another 33 minutes. I mean, come on guys, 50 minutes has already gone past here. That's how fast the racing goes here at RaceFace. It's professional, it's clean, nobody messes around. That's exactly what you want to see here for a racing tournament organizer. Incredible stuff. There's a big train there actually that we just saw behind Alan Patterson. He's going to have to try and manage that. Herman Percival in the Honda SRA team as well, trying to keep that car clean. He's got I believe that's a back marker behind actually, because behind them is Vessel Voda in 28, so that's probably Jackie Albert, or yep, that's Jackie Albert. A little bit further behind, Lucan Hines is currently sitting 33rd, currently the teammate of Jackie Albert. Both the Racing Snell ZA pushing it around here in the Pro-Am division. I believe the rest of the Racing Snells are in the Am division, so these guys really starting to lead their team here in glory and sending around. But Lucan Hines and Jackie Alberts were also once in Omnius Gaming Nitro. They had a little bit of a field run. They were the first Nitro drivers for Omnius Gaming, which were actually quite an incredible little thing there to think where the team has come right now with Omnius Gaming and the Nitro. We've got loads of drivers, including Liam Swinburne joining us for Season 20. So incredible scenes where the paths of where drivers have actually landed up. Rian Farida still sending it around track in 21st, and John Vivier is a little bit further behind in 22nd as they send it as close as they can coming around track. We'll have to see how everyone does coming around for the final couple of 32 minutes. 22 minutes left of this pit window, and the strategies have to be played now. Mark Henneberry, I see he's gone into the pit lane over there, and let's go on board with him as he comes into the pit for the final time, getting that pit stop done. He's going to be on board then with Ruan Heineke and Juan Viviers. But Ruan Heineke has actually pulled an undercut of note, because he is currently sitting net P1. The race leader, Juan Viviers, is sitting in 22nd behind a couple of back markers and actual racers in front of him. Rian Ferry, Johan Viviers, and Daniel van de Venter is sitting between him. Actually, a couple more drivers. Ron Liebenberg, Rian Ferry, John Viviers. A couple of them sitting between him and Ruan Heineke. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Mark Henneberry's coming out of the pit lane now. Will it be enough? No, unfortunately not. He's going to lose out to that one. But still, Ruan Heineke sending it around track. He is net P1 at the moment as he tries to increase that gap to Johan Viviers. Both of them pit stops completely done and dusted. So it's all down to pure racing skill here. The Sarko Racing team versus Team Hybrid Racing. Who will be the faster driver here for the net P1 position, as we have 31 minutes left of racing here. Further down there, Gerard Pretorius is fighting hard with Anton Lammers and Werner Boshoff a little bit further behind him, really putting pressure down here in the lower part of the grid here. 34th and 35th. The battle is on for these drivers, and we'll have to see what happens with the rest of them as they send it around track as hard as they can. And further up, the Jakub Kutza still sitting nicely in a bit of a no man's land right now. He's got a 4-second gap in front and a 2.5-second gap behind. So he's right now feeling a little bit relaxed. Neil Groening jumps into the pit lane right now as he's in there for the Flickvoid team of Alenar, trying to get that final pit stop done. He will again be on par with a couple of the other drivers. All those green bars you see at the bottom of the screen is everyone who has finished their pit stop strategies, which means they don't have to wait for any more pit stops. That is their net position as they wait for everyone else to finish off and get their pit stops over and done with. So we'll have to see how that goes. Mark Henneberry sending it around track, trying to catch up to a couple of those starter race leaders. As we send it around, still another half an hour to go. Daniel van de Venter is running over those curbs with the 420 BMW as he is slowly starting to chase down on a couple drivers in front. I believe that's Liebenberg. No, not Liebenberg, sorry. Another driver in front of him, sending it around track, but still incredible feats from them. Ruan Heineke still sending it in 14th right now. He's got a little bit of pressure, like we mentioned, from a little bit of a back marker there. That I believe is Herman Percival, sending it around track for the Honda SRA team. Sean Herrero still now lots of pressure from Jim Mouton in the 6th and 7th position. So it's a battle for 6 right now as they send it around for the final chicane onto the backside here for the Mustang. Let's see how close it's going to be, and if the BMW will get enough slipstream, and we'll have to see how this goes. Biggest, baddest, best is saying go Alan. We'll flash back to Alan for you at just after the straight line dash, and unfortunately nothing can be done there for the likes of Jim Mouton. But further back up, Alan Patterson currently sitting in 2nd position for the PWSR Bravo team. So incredible stuff from him. 1 pit stop left to go. He's trying to play the overcut strategy here over a couple of the net P1 guys from earlier, and we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, right now he's sitting in pretty clean air, if you ask me. Fastest lap so far, 141.8. The last was a 142.5. So not bad pace, considering that Johan Vivier's last lap was a 142 flat. So a little bit faster coming from Johan Vivier's, but Johan Vivier's a little bit further back from the grid. Alan Patterson might face a lot less traffic where he is sitting right now. And so potential strategies coming down into the final couple of minutes. Just as I mentioned, we might be seeing that as we come to the final minutes of this race. Vessel Voda also still sending it around track. The current this racing team trying to make the most of it with 27 minutes left of racing over here. And we'll have to see how everyone else does. Lucan Hines still sitting in 33rd with 1 pit stop left to go. So unfortunately, the only driver down there with 1 pit stop, as well as Gerard Pretorius with 1 pit stop still needing to be done. So we'll have to see how these two turn up the heat. And Biggest Bad is Best saying thanks, no worries at all. We're always welcome to switch over to the drivers requested, and seeing how the path of everyone is going. Ronald Childs still doing an incredible job in 12th position, a 142.2 so far, being his best. Unfortunately not on par with a couple of the faster drivers in front, and so he's going to really have to try and increase that pace. He's running like a camo livery actually, which is quite cool if you ask me. Quite intimidating if he starts to put a lot of pressure on you from behind. And there into the pit lane goes the likes of either Jackie Alberts or Lucan Hines. And I believe that is the likes of Lucan Hines coming into the pit lane over there. Oh, we brake for nobody. Look at that. We brake for nobody. What an intimidating clause as someone is sitting on the bumper of you. And the Racing Snails doing it properly. If you're not going to do it properly, don't do it at all. Exactly what they're experiencing. BG Smith, though, after that unfortunate drive-through, is down to 12th with 1 pit stop left to do. So he's unfortunately out of the running here for any form of podium after that drive-through. And again, once again, saying that consistency is key at any circuit here in GT3 racing. Because of how long these races can go on for, you need to stay consistent. You need to keep the car clean. You need to keep no damage on the car. You need to keep penalties away from your name, because that can damage you heavily with the pace loss that you get, you know, losing out on those positions. But Joan Vier is now setting the fastest lap still, currently sitting with a 141.6 as his last lap. So he is doing an incredibly fast time around this track. He's put in a lot of work there at Hybrid Racing Academy. Alan Patterson's last lap was a 142.3, so a little bit slow from him. Alan Patterson currently sitting in P1 with 1 stop left to go. Lots of drivers behind him with 1 stop left to go as well. We'll have to see how this one plays out. And Sean Herrero makes the decision to jump into the pit lane as he comes in to serve that final pit stop. Will it be enough to keep in that top 10 though? Darius Shamilski still sitting in 7th with 1 pit stop left. And man, I gotta say, that Audi is attracting me to race it again whenever I'm available. I don't know. I love the Audi because of how it looks, but not because of how it drives. It's a very, very hard car to drive in terms of its rear end grip. It likes to slide around a lot, but it's all about trying to find that balance of that car. And anyone can drive any car as long as you know exactly how to set it up. Unfortunately for me, I'm an absolute noob when it comes to setups, and you download other people's setups. I think half the country does that, which is quite a funny thing actually. But further on though, Ron van der Walt just coming out from clearing his pit stops, currently fighting with the likes of Johan Vivier as our race leader. That's for actual position as well. So incredible stuff as they head down to turn 1. And a little bit of sand being kicked up there. I believe that was from one of our drivers in front, Conrad Martin, really trying to keep ahead. Actually, with Sean Herrero in front of them, trying to keep it in front. That Ford Mustang is really sending it around track, trying to keep up the consistency here for the Griffin Sim Racing team. A little bit more smoke that you see there in the background as everyone is trying to keep it clean. But man, it is starting to get hard here. 24 minutes left of racing, and all the pressure is starting to fall on these drivers as they approach the final couple of minutes of this race. Richard van Heerden sitting in 3rd position. He must be absolutely stoked about that as he sends it around the track for a couple more times. Harry Duplessis in 2nd, currently sitting very nicely. Unfortunately, we don't have Garrett Bukes and Henry Platt from last season. They've been promoted to the pro divisions as they work their way up the chain. So incredible stuff from them. They might be back here next year. We'll have to see how this season goes. But everyone else still progressing very, very well as the Crammadillas Racing team, Harry Duplessis carrying the team right now in terms of performance. I know Vessel Voda also in the team, a little bit further down though, in 19th for the Crammadillas Racing guys. And then a couple of the Crammadillas guys in the pro division as well. No, Jean Roberta. No, that's Team Korugma, sorry, for Jean Roberta. And lots and lots of drivers still shaping it up nicely. Ron Heineke currently sitting in 10th position. Like we mentioned, he is technically the net P1 with no pit stops left to go. And that Ferrari is looking mean, lean, and aggressive to send it down to the line. Of course, it's a number 69. You got to have it as it sends it down for the last 22 minutes. I mean, a couple minutes ago, we were looking at an hour and 20 minutes. Now we're looking at 22 minutes. We've already fast-forwarded through an hour of solid racing here at RaceFace, and it goes really fast due to the amount of action that we see on and off track. So incredible stuff from all of our drivers, though, as they do start to send it around. Ron van der Velde, lots of pressure from the race leader now. Johan Viviers, while the ex-race leader currently sitting behind drivers, and this is not playing well to Johan Viviers' fight to get back up to the top, because he's getting stuck behind actual drivers. He can't flash them. It's not a blue flag. These are drivers he's actually racing with on circuit, and he has to try and make it past. Actually, Johan Viviers is fighting for position, full position with Ron van der Velde, because they both finished their pit stops. Same with Sean Herrero, who's currently sitting in 12th. He's technically net P2 right now with no pit stops, with all his pit stops being done. So we'll have to see how all these strategies get played out. Oh, Ron van der Velde, I'm so sorry. That is commentator's curse at its finest. A drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits, unfortunately. And he is not going to be happy with that one, unfortunately. Oh, man. That is an unfortunate thing. Me and Steven have got to go see someone. We've got to try and get this curse off of us. He pulls it in right now and gets that car in to get that drive-through served. Man, he must be upset. Oh, the commentator's curse strikes back at the worst timing. Ron van der Velde was literally in the fight there for a potential 2nd place, and now completely loses out due to a drive-through penalty. Alan Patterson, though, still sitting in 1st. He's got an 11-minute pit window left to play with, and he'll have to use that smartly. He's got Harry Duplessis not very far behind, but Harry Duplessis has got the pressure of Richard van Heerden. So if they start fighting with each other, it might be easy pickings for Alan Patterson to start running away with this race. If the two drivers behind start to mess around and trying to continuously overtake each other, it will not end well for them in terms of fighting for P1. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Johnny Detroit, though, also in 4th for the Pandacity team with 1 pit stop left to do. He managed it very well. He was actually sitting in 1st with 2 pit stops. I was convinced he was going to fall far off the grid, and currently actually still sitting in 4th. And then, you know, Darius Shemilski in the Audi doing an incredible job there in 5th position, sending it around track for the last 20 minutes here for the Audi racing. I mean, listen to that car. Listen to the onboard of this thing, dude. I mean, it's an incredibly sounding car. A big V10 engine that sits inside over there. That nice high-pitched noise that gets played for you. That all comes from the power under there. And there's only one other car on the grid, I believe, with the V10 engine, and that would be the likes of the Lamborghini with the V10, a couple of other cars, and I think there's only one V12 car, am I correct? The Aston Martin V12 that the longer version that nobody races. I mean, it might be that, potentially. But looking further on down the grid, though, BG Smith has pulled the car in for his final pit stop. Off the jacks, will it be enough to get out on track? Conrad Martin has also pulled in to do his pit stop. A couple of drivers getting it done and dusted while they can. And we'll have to see how that goes as the rest of the drivers shape up. Sean Herrera still sending it around track over here for the Griffin Sim Racing team in 10th position. He's now got the race leader behind, putting a lot of pressure, and the race leader is not looking happy. He wants to get these positions back with and trying to get it done as soon as possible before the end of this race. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Incredible scenes though that we are seeing. And further down as well, Vessel Voda, Bradley Searle a little bit in front of that. Bradley Searle currently sitting with the back marker. I believe that's either Lucan Hines or Jackie Alberts. Let's go and have a look. I believe it's Jackie Alberts. No, so Jackie Alberts a little actually stuck in a bit of a mid-pack fight over there. He goes off track, unfortunately, has to let the faster drivers pass. There we see the likes of the Venter a little bit further behind as well. Fun Venter. That's a... That surname does really play on your tongue, because you want to say like Fundenta, or you know, you're not looking for that double syllabus of Fundaventa. You know, it's a pretty rare surname, but it's quite catchy actually. So, and I mean, he's rocking the pink livery, he's ready for it, and absolutely incredible stuff. We're going to quickly take a 10-second water break, and we'll be back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Got a little bit of water in the body to continue here for another 17 minutes. I mean, gee whiz, there is so many cars on grid to try and keep a hold of. I mean, a whopping still, after a total of almost an hour of racing, we still have 39 cars on grid. Okay, well, Hansi Meyerberg's pulled back in. Jackie Alberts, the last car on grid, 38 cars on grid. That is a lot more than we saw last season. Sending it around track here. And there's still 17 minutes left to play. He's got the Venter behind him, putting pressure. As we come into these final couple of minutes, he's going to have to pull off to the side, though, to give way to the blue flag. And we'll have to see how that works out for him. Jean Viviers has really started putting pressure now on Sean Herrera. He's pulling away from Jaco Kutza and Ron Kleinans. But I really want to see how this shapes out. 6 minutes left and a whole grid of drivers doing pit stops. Here we go. Alan Patterson's in. Nice little quick splash and dash. He got it done nice and quickly. Will it be enough to stay in net P1? Here comes our net P1, Ruan Heineke. Oh my goodness. It looks like Alan Patterson might get out. Ooh, it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be it. Here comes Ruan Heineke. Alan Patterson. Oh, he's still under the pit speed limit. And there goes past Ruan Heineke. And Gian Mouton still coming across though. Potentially taking second place here for Alan Patterson. He's out the grid. Second place, potential second place currently sitting is Gian Mouton, who did not catch him. So Alan Patterson pulled himself into a P2, net P2 right now. Unfortunately, just not able to catch Ruan Heineke, who pulled an immense undercut strategy right now with no pit stops left to do, and he's really not far off the rest of the grid. So Harry Duplessis, Richard van Heerden, Darius Shamilski, as well as Faiz Tar and Ronald Child still have pit stops to do. One pit stop each to perform here before the end of this race. They're going to have to try and make it count, or else they might just drop off and lose everything here. They've got 5 minutes left. That is the equivalent of 2 to 3 laps left to get your pit stops in. If you forget about it, if any of these top 5 guys get into a fight and they forget to pit, it could be the complete end of their race here for tonight, as that will add a whopping 130 seconds onto their time for the total race length. They do not want that at all. That'll be an atrocious amount of time to add on, and that will really play a major impact towards the end result of the season. Alan Patterson, though, is looking happy, though, as everyone else. Here we go. Richard van Heerden into the pit lane. He's already out. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Here comes Ruan Heineke on the final chicane. As we mentioned, though, the pit lane is really long as it comes around. 5 stars still sitting in first position. Richard van Heerden coming out the pit lane. He's still got quite a distance. And here comes Ruan Heineke as he comes across, and boom, there he goes. sits in first position. Will Alan Patterson catch him? As here comes Alan Patterson, here comes Richard van Heerden just coming out of the pit lane. Will it be enough? There goes Alan Patterson, just passing him, unfortunately. So, the likes of Richard van Heerden just getting that third position, and it might not be enough to catch up to Ren Heineke. Richard van Heerden a little bit further behind him now. There's 3 drivers left who need to do pit stops. Harry Duplessis, 5-star, and Ronald Childs. Will they do it in the next lap, or will they hold out still? But it's not looking good for our previous race leader. Joan Verviers was leading the race for so long, but he's stuck in 9th position behind a bunch of other drivers. So the pit strategy did not work out for him. He should have done a different pit strategy, followed the trend of what the other drivers are doing, because he's lost out majorly to drivers like Sean Lereo and Gio Maton, Richard van Heerden, and Alan Patterson, as well as Ruan Heineke, who have all played a better pit strategy, and in turn they've come out on top. Harry Duplessis stays out though. He's under pressure from one of the back markers trying to fight his way through as well. 5-star still sending it around, but Joan Verviers is still our fastest driver on track. I don't know if it's going to be enough time for him to catch up to the drivers in front. If he wants to win this race, he's got to catch up a whopping 8 positions. I mean, that's a lot of positions to gain in 13 minutes. That's like a couple of laps. That's 5 or 6 laps of racing here. It's like an F1 quick lobby. I mean, I don't think that's enough. But into the pit lane comes Ronald Childs. He's going to lose out on a couple of positions here, but will it be a quick pit stop for him, or has he held out his main pit stop to the end of the line here? We'll see it as he goes up on jacks. The wheels are turning a little bit there. Looks like he's eager to get out. It might be a splash and dash. It's a quick one. As he gets back out, the car's ready to go. A nice splash and dash, but he's losing a lot of positions, as he's even lost one to Joan Verviers. So Ronald Childs will lose out a lot here as he drops off from the pack. 5-star and Harry Duplessis. Our only 2 drivers, though, with pit stops left to do. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Boys, come on, do not miss that time, because you will regret it majorly. They have to come in here, or they're at risk of playing it very, very close for the next lap. So Harry Duplessis, will he come in, or will he play another lap here? We'll have to see what happens. It's about a 1 minute and 40 second time, which means indeed if he gets across the line with 1 minute and 45-ish seconds left, he should have enough time before the pit lane closes. Harry Duplessis, though, does not want to risk it, pulls it into the pit lane, and here comes 5-star. I think he has to. I don't think he's got enough time to do another lap. 2 minutes left over here. I don't think he's going to get across the line with 1 minute 45 seconds. So he's going to have to pull in to do that pit stop now, which means we'll finally get our grid status after all these pit stops have been completed. Seeing who comes out. 5-star comes across with 1 minute and 46 seconds left. It's definitely not enough, which means he has to pull in. Fortunately for him, he does, with the last car coming into the pit lane. So both cars coming in to serve Harry Duplessis. Looks like he's been sitting for a while. There he goes out now. 5-star comes in, starts chasing him down, and it looks like Ruan Heineke. Is Ruan Heineke going to get the jump? Here he comes across the line. There's Harry Duplessis still coming out, and Ruan Heineke is our net P1 right now. Actually, he's our full P1, as he's got no one else in front of him, which means Alan Patterson is our net P2, but he's being put a lot of pressure from a couple of the blue flag drivers over here, as he's really just trying to keep it up. Potentially got the speed to catch up to Ruan Heineke. Quite a big gap between the two, as you can see. There's the likes of Ruan Heineke. Alan Patterson is a good 11 or so seconds away from him. 10.1 seconds. So I don't think, unfortunately, with 10 minutes left to go, I don't think it's going to be enough. Where did 5-star drop to? Down to 8th position as he just comes out of the pit lane. He's lost out more, though, down to 10th. And he's really going to not be happy about that one. Holding it out to the end of the line. He's lost a lot of time there. And everyone else in front will be extremely happy with that result so far. Sean Lereo up into 6th with his debut outing back out on track for the first time in a while. He's still sitting with the fastest lap driver. Joan Verviers is a little bit further behind him, chasing down the McDonald's livery driver, Jim Maton. Jonathan Chislett also still a little bit further behind as they send it around track with a couple of the other drivers. Jonathan Chislett chasing down Neil Kriening with Van de Venter also chilling there in the back in the BMW, the pink and white BMW, still enjoying their time at the back. And pit window is officially closed for this race. Thankfully, every driver managing to keep their times good and managing to get all their pit stops done before the end of the pit window. So everyone else now sending around track. Herman Percival has a little bit of a buffer in front and behind. You can see it on his map. He's currently sitting in a bit of clean air, but he does have quite a couple of cars behind. As you can see, very big gap actually between him and Warren Sheehan. That's a margin. I mean, that's like a good 20-odd seconds. Warren Sheehan with Anton Lammers behind him. Lots and lots of back markers playing into effect over here. Everyone squeezing in between each other, but that's exactly what you would see on the sheer size of the grid here. I mean, look at this track map. If we put it up on screen, look at that. Look at the amount of drivers going across your screen right now. There's the number 69. You can see him currently sitting in first position, and he's got a whole lot of cars behind him. Alan Patterson is the red dot. So you can see the gap currently between the number 69, the triangle on map, and the number 100, the red dot. There is a big gap right now between the two. And then behind him, actually, Harry Duplessis is really close to the likes of Alan Patterson. This could definitely be a race coming down to the final couple of seconds in this race. 8 minutes left of racing. You can see Harry Duplessis has got the likes of Alan Patterson in his crosshairs. Just behind on that yellow wing, you can see the enemy car in third position. He wants that second place. He's going to chase it down for the next 8 minutes here as we slowly start to get to the end of our race here. We've raced for 1 minute, 1 hour and 12 minutes. Not 1 minute, imagine. 1 hour and 12 minutes. Thankfully, Alan Patterson getting nicely past the back marker there, Warren Sheehan. Will he make it easy, though, for Harry Duplessis? That's the biggest question, as these drivers still send it around track, keeping it fairly competitive. The back marker is sitting quite nicely in the middle over there. Will it be enough, though, for Harry Duplessis to get around? Back marker might pull off to the side. Warren Sheehan and actually sitting very nicely on the line, not giving away that space, and potentially playing a bit of a stretch here for Alan Patterson to start pulling away a bit. Braking a little bit earlier there from the Warren Sheehan in the Team WRT BMW. And oh, Harry Duplessis has lost a little bit of momentum there. He's really lost out on a chance to fight off here, and losing traction and his tempo. But now he's under pressure from Richard van Heerden, who's a little bit further behind right now. And he's going to start to slowly catch up to Harry Duplessis. I mean, look at that. The gap has shortened by a crazy amount. Sean Herrera's also seen this. He's also just coming around the hairpin. And this could potentially be dangerous now for Harry Duplessis. He went from chasing, he's now being chased. So is Gian Matondo, as he's got the previous race leader on his back wing. You can see Joan Viviers putting the pressure on that car, trying to see the gap, trying to see where he can make it count. Joan Viviers is angry that he did not get the pit stop strategy right, and he wants to try and redeem himself here with at least a top 5. He's going to continue to push. His last lap was a 141.3. Mouton's last lap was a 141.8. So, still fairly faster, about 5/10 faster per lap. We'll have to see what he does here. This is going to be an incredible fight down to the line. Incredible stuff, though, as everyone else doing a phenomenal job, though. Joan Viviers, man, oh man, this is going to be intense. Same with the likes of Harry Duplessis. Look at how close Richard van Heerden is to him now. This is a potential overtake on the back straight. Look at the back wing now of Harry Duplessis. Here comes Richard van Heerden. He's got the slipstream in the Ferrari on the main straight over here at Imola. He's getting very close to that car. Looking up at the inside line. It's getting blocked off. He has to go onto the outside line. It's not going to be enough, though, as Harry Duplessis plays defensive, but he in turn ruins a bit of his line for the next runner-up. You can see he's not got the speed, and the likes of Richard van Heerden has got a little bit of a better run over there. It might be an overtake coming down into the next corner. You can see how close they are together. And unfortunately, Richard van Heerden getting a little bit blocked off over there, actually. Going very slow through the chicane. Harry Duplessis, potentially a technique to try and keep the driver behind him. And a little bit further as well, Jim Maton really fighting down from Joan Viviers. That car is so close now, as you can see, really trying to fight it through. And the back marker making it a little bit stressful there for Joan Viviers, trying to maintain it while having that back marker put a lot of pressure on behind. And that back marker really starting to show his speed and potentially putting a threat to this position being made. Ruan Kleinans also not too far away from this fight, currently sitting in 8th position, just behind 2 seconds or so from Joan Viviers. Back up though to Alan Patterson. He's got a lot of clean air on him, as there you can see the likes of Harry Duplessis a little bit further down. A good 3-second gap now to the likes, actually a 4.5-second gap to Harry Duplessis. So he's really breathing in and going, oh, that is a good sigh of relief. But our race leader has really ran away with this one right now. Ruan Heineke has centered around here, and he's going to continue doing so for the final couple of minutes. For Richard van Heerden, once again, a potential to overtake over here. As we go on board with Harry Duplessis, will it be enough? He might go defensive again, as Richard van Heerden looking for ways to get past. Not going to go around the outside. He's looking around the outside. He tries to go again, but he knows he's going to be blocked off. Brakes a little bit earlier to try and get the rotation better, and he gets it because Harry Duplessis is really struggling in that Ferrari, but he keeps planting the car on the middle of the curb, not allowing Richard van Heerden to get past. That is a frustrating thing for Richard van Heerden. He knows he's got the speed, but he's not able to get the racecraft to get around that Ferrari. Just not managed to get past, and now he's under pressure from Sean Loureiro, as Sean Loureiro, like I mentioned, has been watching this fight. The three of them fighting right now for fourth. This is going to be the fight towards the line, seeing who will win the fourth place championship, the fourth place standing over here, because this is, like we say, round one. So if you come fourth, you will be fourth. If you come first, you will be first. So we'll have to see what happens over here, as Sean Loureiro really starting to counter up here. The flames are shooting over there from the Mustang throughout these final couple of seconds. 3 minutes to go, 180 seconds left of racing as we head around here, around Imola. Really tight over here for these three. They're putting a lot of pressure on each other. Richard van Heerden is now actually under more pressure, and Harry Duplessis is pulling slowly away from the likes of Richard van Heerden. Sean Loureiro looking for a position, goes up on the outside line, gets blocked off a little bit from Richard van Heerden, pulling up towards the inside line. Will it be enough though, as they continue to push it around track? This is going to be a close one onto the backside there. Once again, of Harry Duplessis back onto the side over here of Richard van Heerden. You can see that Mustang is not letting up. A little bit more top line speed as well on that Mustang. Look at how much faster it is on the straight, gaining on that Ferrari. This is definitely going to be a position for the likes of Sean Loureiro. He's actually getting blocked right now by the likes of Richard van Heerden, holding off that inside line. Very competitive racing going on right now. Richard van Heerden is like, if I can't get third, I'm not going to give away fourth. So now it's actually the race to run away for Harry Duplessis. That he can see the fighting going on behind him. He's going to keep at it to try and build up that gap and get away from all of it right now. And Sean Loureiro is not having it. He's trying to pull it up, but also our race leader is starting to close in on this pack for the fight for fourth. I don't think it's going to be enough though. 2 minutes left of racing. It's essentially one more lap here at Imola. Where is Ruan Heineke on track? He's coming through our final chicane, which means he is going to do one more lap of racing after this. Second last lap of racing. Oh boy, this is going to get close. Anything can happen over here. Sean Loureiro is on the rear side, actually pulling a little bit away now, and it's actually more of a fight towards the backside over here, as Ruan Kleinhans is now onto the backs of Gian Maton. Same with the likes of Darius Shemilski, a little bit further behind Jakub Kuca, just in front of him. So lots and lots of drivers making impact happen here with the final closing stages of this race. The Mustang is putting pressure. It goes on the outside line. He gets blocked off. Very competitive racing here from Richard van Heerden. There we go. Jeff has let us know it's the final race, the final lap of the race. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I need to take a sip of coffee there. That was intense. I mean, here it goes again. Will it be a position to stick though? The Mustang's got the straight line speed, but Richard van Heerden is not giving the space. But there we go. The Mustang's got the inside line. Will he be able to keep it going into turn one? He's got the inside. He's holding it. Richard van Heerden is not enjoying this, and he's actually lost the position on the last lap of the race. Sean Loureiro up into fourth place from Richard van Heerden. So Richard van Heerden a couple of laps ago thinking, I could potentially get the podium here from Harry Duplessis. And then Sean Loureiro said, not going to happen, pal. Here he comes, blistering in with that Mustang's top speed. And this could definitely cause a little bit of a rivalry here between Sean Loureiro and Richard van Heerden, as they both send it around for the final couple of seconds over here. Where is Ruan Heineke? Let's have a look at our track map as well to see exactly where we're looking at. So Ruan Heineke coming through the final chicane over there just before we get on through the final risottos before the main straight. Boy, oh boy, this has been one heck of a race. with the amount of cars on grid. But once again, Ron Heineke, our P1 driver, with an amazing gap of 13 seconds from Alan Patterson, will finish off this race in first place. Here he comes, coming through the final couple of corners, chasing down one of the back marker Pandacity cars. And it's going to be a phenomenal first race win. He's weaving already. He knows that he's already won, slowing the car down. And that is going to be it for Ruan Heineke. The soccer racing boys take the win for the first race here of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship for the Pro-Am division. Alan Patterson's going to be super chuffed with that performance, coming across in second after a good pit stop strategy, finishing off the line strong in second position. Gary Duplessis is going to be grateful that he gets to stick it out in third, but Sean Herrera was really catching him there. Fourth and fifth for Sean Herrera and Richard van Heerden. Juan Beviers coming in sixth. Not the greatest stuff from him. He was really hoping for that win. Germaton managed to keep it in front of the likes of Ron Kleinhunt. Jaku Kutsa a little bit further behind in ninth. Darius Shemilski in ninth now as well. And then Mark Hennebury coming across the line in 10th position. Jandre Dutoit and Feistar to follow on behind him. PG Smith as well to follow on behind them. In 12th, Ronald Charles Vessel Voda coming across the line together. Bradley Surley coming across now as well as Neil Swartz. In the Pandacity car, Anro Sadler coming across in 16th for the Martian Racing team. And that was an incredible race. The virtual grandstand is saying GG. Incredible scenes as we have a couple of our final drivers coming across the line. A few more: Conrad Martin, Rian Ferree, Jody Sederman coming across, Herman Percival coming across as well, and Jackie Alberts a little bit further on down there. You can see him just coming across. And Rian Liebenberg, unfortunately, did not have the best of races, down in 30th position as they start coming across the line. So very eventful race that we saw over there. A couple of drivers already leaving. That's why you see the clock going down so fast. And that is our race over. So incredible scenes. We're going to head to a breaker, and we'll be with you guys for the interview shortly. Enjoy. Oh my goodness, folks, what an absolutely entertaining race that was. We had some phenomenal drivers pulling some phenomenal strats there in the final couple of very eventful races. So we are currently just waiting for a couple of our drivers to pull into our interview room. Just one in particular, Mr. Alan Patterson, just waiting for him to join up. But incredible scenes as we enter in for the first round here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship here for the Pro-Am division. This is round 1 of Season 20, which is incredible. But without further ado, let's head over to our third place interview over here with the likes of Harry Duplessis. I mean, Harry, absolutely phenomenal race from your side, finishing off in 3rd position for the first race of the season. How are you feeling?
No, I'm feeling good. After quali, I wasn't sure where I'm going to end up. But yeah, it's nice to be back in the seat and putting in some laps. So I really just enjoyed it, and quite surprised actually to be 3rd.
Absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, I've got to ask you, what on earth was going through your head? I'm sure it must have been a little bit of scare there in the final couple of minutes there. You had Richard van Heerden putting an immense amount of pressure on you, and then all of a sudden he started fading away after Sean Herrera came and tanked him down and slowly started to beat him up there behind you. I mean, how did that feel, slowly starting to get a bit of air?
Yeah, so that was actually like a quick from going hunting to being hunted. As I got out the pits, like there was like a few split seconds between me and Alan Patterson, so kind of hunted him down, but then there was a blue flag in between us, kind of cost me quite a lot of time in the first chicane, and that put Van Heerden right on my tail. So then I was just like defending, and yeah, then the tires were gone. Like I was struggling my ass off just to keep that car on the track, and he was a lot faster than me, so I really had to place the car break a little bit later and just hope I don't lose it. And I almost did in that first chicane again. But yeah, as you said, like when Lorero came into the picture, he had to defend as well. So that kind of gave me some air just to relax, bring it home, and yeah, just glad I could finish the race in P3.
Absolutely incredible scenes. I mean, you've racked up a good amount of championship points for round 1 here. You've got 7 rounds ahead of you. So how are you feeling now for the rest of the season? You've claimed yourself a podium on round 1. So what are the expectations going forwards to our next couple of races?
Yeah, I think just keep on practicing, and like we've got P3 now, just improve, go for the P2, P1, and just keep building on it for the next 7 races.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, Mr. Harry Duplessis, I'm going to give you the floor to address any of our amazing petrol heads in the virtual grandstand, possibly address any team members or anyone who assisted you in the practicing and the preparation for tonight's race, as well as our amazing sponsors over here at RaceFace.
Yeah, I just want to thank the sponsors firstly, like making it worth it for us to race this. We do it for fun, but they're putting something extra in it. And then yeah, I just want to thank my teammates. They are the ones that we do it for as well. Spend some time with our friends. So yeah, and like always, I just want to say, ons is nie laaste nie.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, enjoy a good night of celebrations. You finished up in 3rd, definitely not last. I think you can take that quote away from you and your team members, because you've started to pull in some great performance, and we're looking forward to see what you can do for the rest of the season.
Thank you much, appreciate it.
Awesome. We're going to head over now. Unfortunately, it seems like our second place interviewee is not ready before the interviews have started. So Alan Patterson will not be joining us. So we are going to head over to our first place finisher, Mr. Ruan Heineke, who has managed to pull off the, I don't know what that was, the cat out of the hat, the rabbit out of the magic hat. I don't know what that was. But all of a sudden, you were down there below Juan Viviers, and next thing I noticed, you're up there in 1st. How does that feel?
How's it, Tristan? It feels awesome. What a race. That was an amazing race. So, I went for the undercut, and it seemed to have worked.
That's incredible. I mean, yeah, I think your pit strategy is really what saved you today. Like I mentioned, I mean, I was watching Juan Viviers pulling a gap up in front, and then all of a sudden the pit stops came in, and I saw a bright green Ferrari 296 in the net P1 position with a green block next to his name, and that quite shocked me. So incredible stuff putting that pit stop strategy. Was that planned before the race, or was it a quick instinct during your race?
It was kind of planned, but I think for it to work out, I like the music.
Absolutely. Well, I mean,
let the rest of the guys and come out on new fresh tires, and just wait to the end.
Absolutely great. Well, I mean, you are now going in to the next round here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship Season 20 with a 1st place, which means, guess what, Mr. Ruan Heineke? You are leading the Pro-Am Championship for Season 20. I mean, that must feel great, leading the championship after round 1. I mean, I don't know if you expected that, but well done. I mean, you've pulled it off. How are you feeling going into the next round, the next couple of rounds, the next 7 rounds, the next season? How are you feeling going into the next, the next little bit of journey? Are you expecting the same results? What are the expectations?
For tonight's race, I was hoping a top 5. I would have been very happy with a top 5. I didn't expect P1 actually. But this is going to put a target on my back now, leading the championship going into the 2nd race. And so I'll have to dig deep to stay there.
Absolutely. Well, now the heat is on you. You've got to try and maintain that, because people are going to keep eyes on you. They're going to know that you're the championship leader. They're going to see Ruan Heineke in that bright green livery. And you cannot disguise yourself in a wall, my friend. That livery pops out very easily. So you're going to have to show yourself at the front of the grid, or you're going to have to answer some questions in the interview room. But once again, phenomenal job tonight. 1st place on the 1st round of the Season 20 Pro-Am division. I'm going to give you the floor to address any of our amazing petrol heads in the virtual grandstand, as well as any team members or people who helped you in assistance in terms of preparing for tonight's race, and as well as our sponsors here at RaceFace.
Yes, so thank you, Tristan. Yes, I'd just like to thank the whole team, GT3 Racing, or Griffin Sim Racing as we are known. Yeah, and then for RaceFace for making this awesome grid possible. This was a massive grid. And it was a good, clean race from my perspective. I didn't see any issues. Yeah, so I'm actually glad to be part of this PokerBet Championship. And thanks to Hansi for organizing all of this.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, go and have yourself a night of fantastic celebration. You've 100% earned it. Make sure you open a champagne bottle there at GSRT because you guys have earned that top spot. And we'll see you next week for our next rounds for round 2. I mean, it's going to be an incredible feat.
Yes, hope to talk to you next week as well.
Yeah, I hope to see you. I think it's expected now. Eh?
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible stuff as we speak to a couple of our drivers coming across for the interviews. Fortunately, like we mentioned, missing our second place interview, but that is not too much of a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that officially rounds off our race tonight as the first round here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship for round 1 here at Imola. It's an incredible thing to witness. And we are so excited for what comes next. I mean, the sheer amount of performance that what's its name? The sheer amount of performance that we are pushing out here with all of these drivers. I mean, no one is lacking. Everyone is putting in the maximum amount of effort they can. And we head to Valencia, actually, a track that we haven't seen for a while. And heading to Valencia next week for our round 2 of the RaceFace.Pro series, and it's going to be an absolutely incredible one. So everyone in the virtual grandstand, I hope you're having a fantastic night further. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that little bell if you did indeed enjoy tonight's race. It's been a fantastic one, spectating and commentating for all of you guys. Go ahead and give PokerBet and all of our other sponsors a follow, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a phenomenal night, everyone. Have a great night, and cheers.
With all the amazing racing that comes to you weekly, we have to give acknowledgement to our sponsors. Without them, this would not be possible here at RaceFace.Pro. So starting off with our first sponsor, let's go and take your hats off to PokerBet. For all the tournaments, for all the cash games, daily free rolls, and sports betting, there's no better place to be and win with PokerBet. With it all revved up and you're looking for high speed, whether you're into drag, drift, or even long circuit, Red Star Raceway has got you covered. If you're looking to upgrade your car or make sure it's running slick and smooth, go and head over to Extreme Service Center to get you that full mile across the race line, or whether you're going to visit our show. Sliding in to keep you on your toes, Scallywags Drift Academy will keep you right at the top of the pack. And if you're looking for all your streaming needs, head over to Tenvo Tech for all the overlays. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an honor having you. We'll see you